Here at Be Freaking Awesome, we believe that life is too short to be anything less than extraordinary. Join us as we explore what it means to live authentically, grow continuously, and have a blast while doing it. Let's get started. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Be Freaking Awesome. I'm one of your hosts, Sami Kinnison, here with Angela Belford. And today we are going to be talking a little bit more about what does growth look like. We had an episode a while back, the Nonlinear Journey of Growth. And if you haven't listened to that, feel free to pause, go listen to that. This is a little bit of a part 2 to that conversation. But as time goes on, we learn more about growth and have more reflections and more messy middle commentary on it. So that's what we're going to be digging into today. It's just kind of our reflections and where we're at. So part of how this came up is because I had, frankly, a pretty obnoxious therapy session. Obnoxious is not the right word. Annoying, frustrating, tearful, golly, look at me sowing the seeds of my actions kind of therapy session. And I, in the middle of therapy, was like, gosh dang it, I'm gonna have to make a podcast episode about this. So here we are, making a podcast episode.
You and I both have a similar philosophy of like, look, if I'm paying money for therapy, more than me needs to get some benefit out of it. So I appreciate that you're willing to unpack it here with us and kind of what you're going to learn. One of the things I would say that so often when we are growing, we think that the goal of growth is no bad days. Right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm going to be like able to navigate hard situations and all of those things. And it's very fascinating that that's what we're talking about, because back in October, I definitely came to a point where I was like, I had 2 different clients that were expressing their displeasure in unhelpful ways.
And what a marketing way to say that, you know, good spin.
Well, and there was this thing of like, I found myself going, oh, you don't think I'm doing a good job? Screw you. I don't even want to work on your stuff now. And then you would get to the next meeting and you're like, well, now they're more unhappy with me. Now they're more unhappy with me. And so I was about to lose my mind. Mm-hmm. And so when I went in to see my therapist, number one, she's like, oh, I haven't seen you in 2 or 3 years. Are you writing another book? Which really should tell you everything you need to know about the book writing process. Anyway, I was like, no, I want to be able to, when somebody else is unhappy with me, I want to work to my standards of excellence. And which is a little, probably its own podcast to talk about, but I realized that I wanted people to, when they expressed unhappiness, I wanted it not to impact me at all. It turns out that's what I wanted. And my therapist was like, so it turns out you're a human. Here's the other thing. And this is the thing that is like, I'm nervous about. I always get nervous when I tell people this. I actually had a new client this week and I had to warn them about this. Is I'm like, when we've gotten really good at navigating our life and we've built up all these walls and we don't cry. And we think that's good. And when you get your nervous system deactivated and you're not in fight, flight, or freeze, I actually feel things kind of a little bit more in the moment, which means I'm not stuffing them down. And I say, you know, tears are one of the least offensive ways that our body can express emotion. I mean, you know, I'd rather cry than get cancer. I'd rather cry than, you know, get constipated, right? Like, or throw up or whatever. Don't bring that one up. So the thing is that like it's a little bit scary to go, wait, you're telling me that if I go on this journey, I might cry a little more than I do now. What? I don't want to go on that journey. I like not crying. Actually, we don't like not crying. And so
we think we like
that. And so it's really more about, I have been really embracing the idea of what does my recovery look like and what does my bounce back ability look like. Like, can I be flexible and fluid so that I can rebound, and not be back in that thing. So that's the upside, is that yes, you will have more feelings on this side of healthy, but
Is
there's a
that
different
the bad
metric of
thing?
success. That you just we I've had to change my metric of success, of like,
I
it's
also want to lightly tease you on your bounce back ability, because there are times, friends out there listening, when we'll be like on the phone or talking about something and she'll be like, BBA, guys, bounce back ability. And I'm like, what is this BBA? So that's her. like, okay, let's bounce back. Anyway,
that
it's
was
very
something we
funny.
learned. I went to a whole training on that. Where
BBA.
BBA, yeah, it was like a metric of success. I just lost it for a few
I just
years.
feel like you
So
can't say it like unenthusiastically, like it can only be said with gumption, and I don't know. I also, to like, share my own messy middle that might have been last night when we were before the night before we were recording this. At one point I'm crying on the phone and I'm saying, and I've lost all of my unhealthy coping mechanisms, so I can't even stuff these feelings somewhere. Like, I don't even know. Like, it's so frustrating that like I can't. I have to just feel them. And like, wouldn't it be nice to just like grab hold of that unhealthy way of operating for just a moment?
that does scare people.
Yeah.
That they're like, I can't, because what if I go to therapy and what if I start crying and I don't ever stop? And I'm like, you will stop. I can promise you. You will.
You will. It might be an hour from now. It might be 6 days from now. It might be, a month from now, but you
Stop
will.
it.
I went 6 days where I like cried almost like every moment. It was really bad. It was 2017. We've talked about it before. My perfectionism breakdown. So what happened to me right now, though, speaking of my perfectionism breakdown, previous iterations of Sami, which is how I keep talking about it, and I can't tell if it's the right way to talk about it, of just like, like we get like your phone gets like an upgrade and like, you move through the things. It's still me, a previous iteration of me, faced with the reality that like this thing that I have worked for is not quite what I expected and is disappointing. And really a lot of the feeling that came up is this like, I don't have enough of me to go around. And in some regard that is factually true. Like, there is not enough of Sami to go to all the things that Sami wants to be able to do. And 2017 Sami put her in a paralysis state where she could not stop crying. Like, so overwhelming, that thought, that fact, that like that reality. And sometimes now Sami, 2026 Sami, is like, this sucks. Like, there's not enough of me to go around, and that can mean that I am not enough. That like could be like I'm not enough, not in a way that is a value statement, but in a way that like I don't have enough internal resources of time, energy, brain capacity to allocate it to all of the things that I want to allocate it to. Because there could be like all the things I have to do, and that's not where it's at. It's the things I want to do. I want to show up well at work. I want to show up well at home. I want to be a great wife. I want to be a great mom. And sometimes those things come like to head, and it's like it's very difficult to be fully amazing all of these things and come home and potty train and like do anyway all of that stuff. And so I am acknowledging and lamenting in some ways that the growth is where I'm at right now, that I'm like, wow, I'm not enough, and that kind of sucks. All right, well, let's just go about tomorrow then. And like, I guess I'm just going to run at a deficit for a little while. But there's an interesting, I'm like, wow, what growth, what a growth, that like that can be the thought that comes up. And instead of, which, yes, we can talk about like maybe a better thought, Sami, let's not reframe to I am
You
not
you
enough.
knew where I was about to go.
I know we should reframe that. I'm also going to recognize the growth that when that pop thought comes into my head, it is not the end of the world. it is like, well, that sucks. I guess we keep going. And like, and that's growth. And that stakes that's growth. I want growth to be, I never have the thought I am not enough. And apparently where I'm at in the journey, maybe I'm hoping that one day I'll never have the thought I'm not enough. But right now where I'm at in the journey is like, yeah, I had the thought and it sucks. So we move on. Like, we should keep going. So that's where I'm at.
Number one, thank you for catching in the middle of that, the sentence, because I do think, as Brene Brown says, the story we're telling ourselves does significantly impact the how intense those emotions are felt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's an element of one of the reasons why you're able to be like, that sucks, is because you no longer actually hold the belief, I am enough. I'm not enough.
Yeah.
I'm not enough. In general, that's not a belief that is true for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it is absolutely true. I don't have enough capacity mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
The invoices on my time.
Yeah. But
more than what's in the bank.
The story I'm telling myself, what I'm making that mean,
mm-hmm.
what I hear you saying, right? Those kinds of like communication tools that we can use even to ourselves.
Yeah.
What that means. And to say like, you're not potty training Henry, you're not potty training Peter, and that has definitely improved. Right. And so now you got a third one and you're potty training them. And
when my third one back in like August, September, and I was like, gosh dang, she's never going to sleep through the night. Like, we're just never going to sleep through the night. It's going to be years before we sleep through the night. And here I am, golly, barely 3 to 4 months later. And I'm like, oh, we've been sleeping through the night for like a couple months now. Like, I had a thought that this is going to be years. It was maybe a month or two. And it's like,
and 2 months with no sleep is really hard.
It is really hard. You're at that point, then like your capacity is seriously diminished.
I remember the first time I slept 4 hours. And like, my brain actually works a lot better at 4 hours sleep than it does at, 2 hours sleep. Right. And so I love that, number one, because here's the other thing is that when we have embraced a belief, like I am enough, then when we go to accomplish our next big level up, we're going to level up what we're doing, either growth, a new goal, a new thing that we're chasing after, we absolutely will encounter resistance from our body. Number one, our body is trying to keep us safe, and new scary things are always going to feel unsafe. And there is something about when I finally accepted that was true, then I stopped expecting that the goal of growth was there are no bad days.
Right.
Right. Because then I'm like, oh, I'm going for something new and bigger. It makes sense. It makes sense that some of this fear, because I can remember being to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, I have worked on this and worked on this. It was for me, the forgiveness thing. Oh, here it goes again. I have to forgive my stepdad again for this thing. And then I'm like, yes, no, it's just, if you encounter a consequence of somebody else's actions, you're going to have to forgive that you have to deal with the consequence. It's not that work didn't count. It's not that work wasn't meaningful. It's that this is, yes, that makes sense. And so in the same way, when we go after a new goal, so wait, hold on, you're going after a new goal that is that of being a business owner, and shifting, how you introduce yourself, how you show up in the world. Like,
what title do I put on my business card? Like that kind of, am I a co-founder? Am I a executive director? I'm just a communication coach? Like, there's so much of it that's like, there is a lot of new.
It's a lot of new. So it makes sense that it would come up. Are you, and I like to kind of dig in a little bit and ask, is the question, the underlying question, are you sure you're enough? I think that's what your body and mind is asking, is like, are you sure you're enough? Because there's some parts of it where you've grown to the point where you're like, yeah, I'm enough. Yeah, I can give these trainings. No problem. I've done it. I am enough. I'm good at networking. I'm good at sales. I'm good at these things. But then, but when it comes to a business owner, are you sure you're enough? Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe not. Here's the thing. We often think that we want to do toxic positivity and say, absolutely, I am so sure that I am enough. And I walk through an exercise with people. I'm like, maybe it's true. Maybe you're not enough. And this is even a little bit different than what you're doing, which is I actually don't have enough capacity. But I'm like, okay, maybe it's true. Maybe you're not enough.
Then
Now
what?
what? Now what?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that tragic? Is that life ending? What are you going to do about it? And it's like, oh, so here your brain is going like, oh my gosh, you might not be enough. You might not be enough. And you're like, okay, so what?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean I might have to work a little harder? Does that mean I might need to learn a few skills? I mean to do a little more research. Maybe I need to have some mentors. Maybe I need to what is okay. So what?
Yeah.
Now what?
So you and I, this sounds like a pivot. It will come back. I pinky promise. We have stories that have happened in our life that you and I are really good at, like, no. This story really helps illustrate a point so freaking well that then, like, no, this is just like a part of the book. It's like a part of the book of me, not the book that's written down. When I was in junior high, you and I went on together on a school like float trip in a canoe trip down the Kings River here in Arkansas. And you get to the end, there's like a concrete, what once was like a full concrete bridge across the river, that part of it is like broken out. And so you have to stop your canoe before you hit the rapids, roughly speaking. So like there's like a lull. You got to stop your canoe and get caught off there so you can leave before you get caught up in the rapids. And so we were one of the first people there. We get our canoe, we do it, then we like get back in the water to like help other people. One of the canoes, I don't know, it was some dumb
Also,
kid.
I think sometimes the kids would like then, oh, now we're going to just ride the rapids down in our life jackets.
Well, that didn't happen yet. That didn't happen yet. Because it happened after the scary moment of going down the rapids. So
okay. I couldn't remember.
So there was this dumb kid that, like, I don't know, he just was like not getting out of the canoe. I'm pretty sure I remember who it is, and I'm not gonna like name names right here.
Typical 8th grade boy.
Typical 8th grade boy. And so then like the canoe ended up tipping, and you, me, and like two other people were like holding onto the canoe, trying to catch it before it goes down the rapids. But if you're holding a canoe, the open side is what the water is rushing into. And we're all holding on. We're all just getting swept away into the rapids. And so I end up letting go, and I'm holding on to the edge of the concrete right before like the water rushes around. And I'm holding there. My head is like barely above the water. I feel like I'm drowning. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm one of my classmates is standing up above me on the concrete, and I'm like, help, like, Ryan, help me. And he's like, let go, Sammy. And I'm like, I can't let go. I'm going to go down the rapids and I'm going to die. And he's like, let go. And I'm like, no, I can't let go. I have to hold on to this way of being, or else I'm going to die. And then I end up like, at a certain point, you're like, well, you got to do something. And so I'm like, I'm not willing to let go. So I like will start walking my hands along this little concrete thing. And as soon as I get off that corner where the water's like rushing into my face, and I end up like, I don't know, 6 inches farther down, I can stand up. I'm in like, I don't know, a foot and a half of water. And I'm like, you kind of look like an idiot for sitting there. And basically, because I was holding on, I was like drowning myself. And if I would have let go,
in waist deep water,
no, not even waist deep water, like knee deep water, like nothing. And so to me, there's so much of life that feels like that is like, I cannot do something, like this isn't working. But if I let go, if I embrace this other way, I'm going to die. And it's like, you're actually going to die if you continue to do it this way. If you continue to hold on, you're going to drown yourself. Whereas if you could listen to the person who is standing in a spot where they can see the whole field to say, you look dumb, let go, like move 6 inches, which is not what Ryan was saying.
He was trying to help you.
He was trying to help me, genuinely trying to help me, which is also where we find ourselves.
Which is also like when somebody else is trying to like tell us what we need to do and we get so mad at them.
Yeah. Like, so mad. You don't understand my situation. I'm drowning. And it's like, no, I see that you're drowning. And I see that if you like, just like, and then, so here's the part. We didn't, so then everybody ends up like floating down the rapids and it's kind of scary. And then it was like, actually, that was kind of fun. Like, there was a moment though, there was a freak out of like, oh no, everyone went down the rapids. And then they're like, hey, they all survived. And like, and then you just kind of like get to the other rapids and you like swim out and then you like walk back along the shore. And then a couple of the kids like, let's do it again. Like, let's hop back and do it again. And so then everybody's doing it for fun. What was terrifying, what was, this is dangerous, don't do this, somebody's going to get hurt, is now, let's do it again and let's have fun. So much of that story to me is like so metaphorical to how we do so much of life.
Okay, what's hilarious is that a very different version of that story is in my book. It's a very different, because I have a 100% different memory. I don't remember that moment. Well,
also very few people remember the moment that I was drowning, because I was pretty embarrassed about it, so I didn't like share.
Oh, sure. No, but let's fast forward a few minutes where I'm like, oh, I'm going to have fun with the kids. And I'm going to go, and I somehow get twisted up, like twisted over, and I'm in full-blown panic attack, which if you've read my book, I almost drowned when I was 15. Some of the time I'm great in the water. Some of the time it will hit me and I can't even control it. I mean, it is the single most frustrating thing of my life. I cannot mentally I have to get myself out, but it'll hit me and I have no control. And I was in that middle of that panic, and you grabbed my life jacket and were like, you're okay, stand up. And I was like, what? But I think I'd just gotten a face full of water and I couldn't figure out which way was up. And I remember being embarrassed that my 14-year-old had to tell me I'm okay. And again, in the nearly waist deep water. So I had totally forgotten that yours was. Thanks for sharing that story.
Isn't that crazy that the same day we both have like near life, like trajectory shifting moments?
Yeah.
And they were different. I have no memory of yours. You have no memory of mine.
So funny.
That is hilarious. We should go write a thank you note to Mr. Schaefer and say, hey, thanks for taking a group of 8th graders on a float trip down the Kings River. You changed our life. You have no idea.
We should send this episode over. Oh, that's hilarious.
You just never know.
So
it connected. See, I was like, it connected. I promise. It came back around.
I was like, oh, they have to connect?
Oh. That's true.
Long-time listeners are like, oh, that's magical. It's going to connect. That's crazy. Anyway, so here's the thing, is that this could come across as very discouraging, because we recorded the Nonlinear Journey in November of 24. It was episode 145 for your reference. And I think most of us know it in our head. We know in our head, we've all seen the meme that says what we think success is, what it actually is. We know that in our brain, but this is what we're talking about, is what it feels like viscerally when it's not going the way you want it to go. Or right. You're thinking the goal of growth means that there's no bad days, which, my Spotify rap showed up that AJR was my number one artist of 2025. I didn't listen to that many minutes, just so y'all know. There were so many people that listened to more. I listened to a bunch of minutes because I went to their concert. So AJR has this song that's called 100 Bad Days. 100 bad days means 100 good stories. 100 good stories makes you interesting at parties. Because I can tell you the stories we tell about the crazy things that happen to us are so much more interesting, and they're so much more connecting than like, I'm amazing. The first time I went and did one interview after college, and the very first interview I got hired. Like,
okay, don't at me like that. I don't tell that story, but that is
you don't tell that story.
I don't tell that story. It's not very.
You don't tell that story. It's
not very relatable.
Connect. It's not relatable. Now, I think your answer when they said, hey, you realize you're overqualified for this job, and you said, yep, and when the next position comes open, I'll already be here. I think that was the most brilliant answer ever. So you should tell that part of the story.
I
Anyway,
don't think that's actually real, though. I don't think I said that out loud. I think I knew that. They said, you know, you're overqualified for this job. And to their faces, I said, I'm aware, but I really value the work that you guys do. And I love the opportunity to get to be here and contribute to that work.
you told me that you said, and then if something else comes available, I'll already be here.
I just don't know
But
that
maybe-
I said that out loud. Maybe I thought that.
Hey,
that was
don't
10
steal my
years
mom's
ago.
Story. Don't steal my mom's story.
Sure. Why let reality get in the way of a good story? Isn't that what we say?
All the time.
So, listeners, people here, I hope this isn't discouraging. And
It
it's
should be
real.
encouraging if you're having bad days, like we all are. The life coach school, the owner, Brooke, talks about that life is 50-50. I hate this thing. And she said all life coaches hate this thing. We want it to be like at least 60-40, 60% good and 40% bad. It really is about, if life is 50-50, then number one, I sometimes will say like, man, this is really hard. I'm like, ooh, I like my version of hard. This is a pretty good life if this is the part that's hard. Number one, so I can celebrate and I can appreciate that. But number two, it's the ability to navigate. It's our ability to bounce back.
That BBA. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for joining us here in the new year, 2026. And if you are not already subscribed on our newsletter, go to our website, Be Freaking Awesome, the letter B, freakingawesome.com. And you can join our newsletter where this year you're going to be getting weekly communication tips, emotional tips, all of those things. It's going to be really, really great. And we are really glad that you're here and that you're with us on our messy journey and to get to witness all of these things. So share with us where you're at. We'd love to hear it. DM us anywhere that you find us, and we'd be delighted to read that and hear about your version of the story, where you're at. Until next time, everyone, we hope you guys go be freaking awesome.